Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The activity of communicating, the activity of conveying information. They could not act without official communication from Moscow. A connection allowing access between persons or places. How many lines of communication can there be among four people? Something that is communicated by or to or between people or groups. The activity of communicating, the activity of conveying information. Something that people do or cause to happen. Pretend to have certain qualities or state of mind. He acted the idiot. Behave unnaturally or affectedly. She's just acting. Something that people do or cause to happen. A legal document codifying the result of deliberations of a committee or society or legislative body. Perform an action, or work out or perform an action. Think before you act. A short performance that is part of a longer program. He did his act 3 times every evening. Perform on a stage or theater. She acts in this play. Have an effect or outcome, often the one desired or expected. How does your idea work in practice? Behave in a certain manner. Show a certain behavior, conduct or comport oneself. You should act like an adult. Play a role or part. She wants to act Lady Macbeth, but she is too young for the role. A manifestation of insincerity. He put on quite an act for her benefit. A subdivision of a play or opera or ballet. Be engaged in an activity, often for no particular purpose other than pleasure. Be suitable for theatrical performance. This scene acts well. Discharge one's duties. She acts as the chair. Something that people do or cause to happen. A legal document signed and sealed and delivered to effect a transfer of property and to show the legal right to possess it. He signed the deed. Something that people do or cause to happen. The process of bringing ideas or events together in memory or imagination. Shifting from one form of transportation to another. The plane was late and he missed his connection in Atlanta. A relation between things or events, as in the case of one causing the other or sharing features with it. There was a connection between eating that pickle and having that nightmare. An instrumentality that connects. He soldered the connection. The act of bringing two things into contact, especially for communication. There was a connection via the internet. The state of being connected. The connection between church and state is inescapable. A connecting shape. A supplier, especially of narcotics. Usually plural. A person who is influential and to whom you are connected in some way, as by family or friendship. He has powerful connections. The process of bringing ideas or events together in memory or imagination. Shifting from one form of transportation to another. A relation between things or events, as in the case of one causing the other or sharing features with it. An instrumentality that connects. The act of bringing two things into contact, especially for communication. A connecting shape. A relation between things or events, as in the case of one causing the other or sharing features with it. The state of being connected. Preoccupation with something to the exclusion of all else. The process of formulating general concepts by abstracting common properties of instances. A general concept formed by extracting common features from specific examples. A concept or idea not associated with any specific instance. An abstract painting. The act of withdrawing or removing something. A general concept formed by extracting common features from specific examples. The act of persuading, or attempting to persuade, communication intended to induce belief or action. A personal belief or judgment that is not founded on proof or certainty. I am not of your persuasion. The act of expressing earnest opposition or protest. The act of protesting. A public, often organized, manifestation of dissent. Law. A procedure whereby a party to a suit says that a particular line of questioning or a particular witness or a piece of evidence or other matter is improper and should not be continued and asks the court to rule on its impropriety or illegality. The speech act of objecting. A job in an organization. He occupied a post in the Treasury. Mark with a stake. Transfer, entries, from one account book to another. United States manufacturer of breakfast cereals and postum, 1854 to 1914. United States female author who wrote a book in a syndicated newspaper column on etiquette, 1872 to 1960. Military installation at which a body of troops is stationed. This military post provides an important source of income for the town nearby. Cause to be directed or transmitted to another place. Assigned to a station. A pole or stake set up to mark something, as the start or end of a racetrack. A pair of posts marked the goal. The system whereby messages are transmitted via the post office. In England they call mail, the post. Place so as to be noticed. Post a sign. Mark or expose as infamous. Any particular collection of letters or packages that is delivered. Is there any post for me? The position where someone, as a guard or sentry, stands or is assigned to stand. A soldier manned the entrance post. United States aviator who in 1933 made the first solo flight around the world, 1899 to 1935. Affix in a public place or for public notice. Post a warning. An upright consisting of a piece of timber or metal fixed firmly in an upright position. He set a row of posts in the ground and strung barbed wire between them. Assigned to a post. Put into a post. The newspaper posted him in Timbuktu. Display, as of records in sports games. Enter on a public list. Publicize with, or as if with, a poster. I'll post the news on the bulletin board. Ride Western style and bob up and down in the saddle in rhythm with a horse's trotting gait. The delivery and collection of letters and packages. It came by the first post. The system whereby messages are transmitted via the post office. Usually plural, transmissions that are disseminated widely to the public. Around the middle of a scale of evaluation. Medium bombers. Bacteriology. A nutrient substance, solid or liquid, that is used to cultivate microorganisms. An occupation for which you are especially well suited. Someone who serves as an intermediary between the living and the dead. He consulted several mediums. A liquid with which pigment is mixed by a painter. A means or instrumentality for storing or communicating information. An intervening substance through which signals can travel as a means for communication. An intervening substance through which something is achieved. The dissolving medium is called a solvent. A state that is intermediate between extremes, a middle position. A happy medium. Biology. A substance in which specimens are preserved or displayed. Meat, cooked until there is just a little pink meat inside. The surrounding environment. Fish require an aqueous medium. The system whereby messages are transmitted via the post office. He works for the United States Mail Service. Cause to be directed or transmitted to another place. I'll mail you the paper when it's written. Middle Ages, flexible armor made of interlinked metal rings. The system whereby messages are transmitted via the post office. The mail handles billions of items every day. Send via the postal service. I'll mail you the check tomorrow. Any particular collection of letters or packages that is delivered. Your mail is on the table. A conveyance that transports the letters and packages that are conveyed by the postal system. The bags of letters and packages that are transported by the postal service. The act of expressing earnest opposition or protest. The act of expressing earnest opposition or protest. A course of reasoning aimed at demonstrating a truth or falsehood. The methodical process of logical reasoning. I can't follow your line of reasoning. A slight depression or fold in the smoothness of a surface. His face has many lines. Mechanical system in a factory whereby an article is conveyed through sites at which successive operations are performed on it. A connected series of events or actions or developments. Historians can only point out those lines for which evidence is available. The road consisting of railroad track and roadbed. A conceptual separation or distinction. There is a narrow line between sanity and insanity. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. A conductor for transmitting electrical or optical signals or electric power. The principal activity in your life that you do to earn money. He's not in my line of business. Make a mark or lines on a surface. Draw a line. Often plural, a means of communication or access. Lines of communication were set up between the two firms. The descendants of one individual. His entire lineage has been warriors. Space for one line of print, 1 column wide and 1/14 inch deep, used to measure advertising. A short personal letter. Drop me a line when you get there. A telephone connection. Be in line with, form a line along. Trees line the riverbank. The maximum credit that a customer is allowed. A particular kind of product or merchandise. A nice line of shoes. A pipe used to transport liquids or gases. A pipeline runs from the wells to the seaport. A commercial organization serving as a common carrier. Acting in conformity. In line with. A formation of people or things one behind another. The line stretched clear around the corner. A formation of people or things one beside another. The line of soldiers advanced with their bayonets fixed. A fortified position, especially one marking the most forward position of troops. They attacked the enemy's line. A length, straight or curved, without breadth or thickness, the trace of a moving point. A mark that is long relative to its width. He drew a line on the chart. A single frequency, or very narrow band, of radiation in a spectrum. A spatial location defined by a real or imaginary unidimensional extent. Cover the interior of. Line the gloves. Fill plentifully. Line one's pockets. In games or sports, a mark indicating positions or bounds of the playing area. Mark with lines. Sorrow had lined his face. Persuasive but insincere talk that is usually intended to deceive or impress. Let me show you my etchings as a rather worn line. Reinforce with fabric. Lined books are more enduring. Something, as a cord or rope, that is long and thin and flexible. A washing line. Text consisting of a row of words written across a page or computer screen. The letter consisted of 3 short lines. Mutual communication. Communication with each other. They intercepted intercommunication between enemy ships. A word or phrase that particular people use in particular situations. Pardon the expression. The communication, in speech or writing, of your beliefs or opinions. Expressions of goodwill. A group of symbols that make a mathematical statement. The feelings expressed on a person's face. A sad expression. The style of expressing yourself. His manner of expression showed how much he cared. Expression without words. Tears are an expression of grief. A group of words that form a constituent of a sentence and are considered as a single unit. Genetics, the process of expressing a gene. The act of forcing something out by squeezing or pressing. The expression of milk from her breast. The act of expressing earnest opposition or protest. An exclamation of protest or remonstrance or reproof. The act of exhorting, an earnest attempt at persuasion. A communication intended to urge or persuade the recipients to take some action. The act of persuading, or attempting to persuade, communication intended to induce belief or action. A set of questions or exercises evaluating skill or knowledge. The act of giving students or candidates a test, as by questions, to determine what they know or have learned. The act of examining something closely, as for mistakes. A detailed inspection of your conscience, as done daily by Jesuits. Formal systematic questioning. A set of questions or exercises evaluating skill or knowledge. Trying something to find out about it. Any standardized procedure for measuring sensitivity or memory or intelligence or aptitude or personality, etc. The test was standardized on a large sample of students. A set of questions or exercises evaluating skill or knowledge. When the test was stolen, the professor had to make a new set of questions. Test or examine for the presence of disease or infection. Examine someone's knowledge of something. The teacher tests us every week. Put to the test, as for its quality, or give experimental use to. The act of testing something. The act of undergoing testing. He survived the great test of battle. Achieve a certain score or rating on a test. She tested high on the LSAT and was admitted to all the good law schools. A hard outer covering as of some amoebas and sea urchins. Determine the presence or properties of a substance. Show a certain characteristic when tested. He tested positive for HIV. Undergo a test. She doesn't test well. The art of writing and producing plays. A region in which active military operations are in progress. He served in the Vietnam Theater for 3 years. A building where theatrical performances or motion picture shows can be presented. The art of writing and producing plays. A region in which active military operations are in progress. A building where theatrical performances or motion picture shows can be presented.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.